Hello and welcome to the UK Surf Show. We are your hosts. I'm Pete.
And I'm Mitch, and on today's episode, we get into the Devon edition. We have on the new show sponsors, Tiki. We speak to Sammy, we speak to Jake, we speak to Kraz, and we speak to Matt. And it was a pretty fun one. We've done it in the shop, we've done it in the store after rinsing them of a load of goods.
and they've also given us a discount code now for you lot out there as well. So if you want anything from Tiki, and you can visit Tiki online and use the discount code UK Surf Pod, all uppercase, and that will get you 10% off at Tiki as well for most things. I think there's apart from something in there.
I think it was apart from boards, but we will confirm that.
We will confirm that for you.
So let's get into Devon. Let's get into Tiki. Let's do it.
Here we go.
Yeah, so I'm Kraz. I'm the store manager here at the Braunton store, and I started here when I was 18 years old. So I've been here now 30 years. Milestone this April. Ooh. Yeah. So it's pretty...
So that was back when the store was in sepia and everything?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, and then next we've got...
Yeah, hi, I'm Matt. I haven't been here as long as Kraz, but been here a couple of years doing business development. Extremely average surfer, but what I lack in skill, I make up for in enthusiasm.
I'm Sammy. I've worked for Tiki for a year and a half. I'm on the digital team, so I'm a digital marketer, and I also do merchandising on the website too.
Nice.
I'm Jake. I've been here for a couple of years as well. I do a little bit of everything, a lot of stuff no one else wants to do. No, I'm joking. I help Kraz run the store, and then I do a bit of like warehouse management and stuff like that at the back as well.
Okay.
Now too.
Cool.
Yeah.
I guess I don't even know where to start. Maybe give us, Kraz, you've been here the longest. Tell us about Tiki.
Yeah, sure. I've worked alongside Tim and Dave, who are the original founders of Tiki, for about 28 years with those guys. So, I know that they started in the Southwest predominantly. I think it was about 1968. They'd been in South Wales just before that, and they moved to the Southwest, and that's pretty much when Tiki really was here in North Devon. Mm-hmm. From the store side, for me, I was coming in here as a small child, like literally sort of eight years old or so. So I remember this site. They did have one in in South Street, so where we're here in Kane Street. This was the first one I knew of. Very much in the 80s was the time that I sort of recall. There was like a VHS.
Full colour everything.
It was very much like the kind of gotcha days.
Oh, yeah.
It was sort of like the, Surfzoids. Those are things that I always remember. And they used to have like a big screen in the store down the front here, and it kind of had like VHS video racks, Bunyip Dreaming. Those kind of were the videos that,
Yeah, right.
It was good. Green Iguana, that kind of stuff always sticks in my mind. Very much the sort of day glow 80s.
So how did that come about that you started working here then? Was it just the fact that you were always in here, or?
Pretty much. Like, we were always really super excited to hit Tiki. It's a big part of the local community. Very much, my sister's only a year younger than me, and my brother as well was 4. So it was kind of like coming in here was a really big thing.
Yeah.
We were very much, I've lived here all my life, so very much brought up on all the local beaches, and surfing is a big part of the area, so it was the store.
Okay.
It was always
and a lot of people, we've had a lot of conversations about what a surf shop should be, and everyone's got a different idea of it. And I think this idea of it being like sort of backstreet warehouse, like dust everywhere, that sort of thing. I mean, this couldn't be any further from that. But I have to say, this is a stunning location. Like, this could be, I don't know. It sounds like it would sound detrimental, but it could be a kitchen showroom or something. It is so clean, but it's an amazing space as well. I think it's really nicely laid out, and it's definitely. I mean, take my money. That's kind of what I'm saying. So how has it developed from I mean, I don't know what it started like, VHS tapes on the front, but to this?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's been an incredible journey just on a personal level, being involved in Tiki as a brand. Seeing all the changes, the expansion of the shop was kind of first part. So when I started when I was 18, I was actually working up at a store which was a sort of secondary store we had called Legends, which was a longboard specialist store.
Right.
And I hopped in there just on a Saturday morning. My friend who I owe my job to here, really, and a best friend of mine, he asked me in for a Saturday job, and just started there. They had the factory unit down at Vellator. That was where they were manufacturing wetsuits, as well as had shaping bays, and were doing boards actually here in the UK.
Right.
Coming here to this store, it's just really kind of been a steady progress of expansion. So we occupied the stores that sort of flanked the two at the front, and eventually we extended out. To what we see now has been the real kind of core change as sort of the new ownership has taken over, and we're kind of in a really wicked phase where the whole store is looking as it is now. It's just like spectacular, I mean, it's quite a transformation.
It is pretty spectacular now. I mean, it's like, it's one of those ones. I think if the first surf shop you've ever been in is this surf shop here, I think you're screwed in any other surf shop you go in.
Disappointed,
because it just carries on. It's that everything. It comes in, you've got, I don't know, walk through the store, we've got video, we'll put it up, but as you walk through, you've got the clothing, and it comes round, and then you've got like boards and everything, and into wetsuits, and it's just like, it is just really nicely done out store. And well done on that, all of you actually,
Matt, business
Hello.
development, I was not expecting to hear that from you. How did how obviously we've known each other for years, but how did that come about, and how did you land here within Tiki doing that?
I'm part of the family of the ownership that have just taken over. I kind of came away from a military career and just sort of fell into it, really. But just sort of really dived in straight in there and trying to bring as many transferable skills over as I can, and get stuck in, really. Loving working with a new team. Yeah, it's been great.
Boston is all about.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
That's a lie. That's a bold lie.
That one day he just kind of showed up, started telling people what to do.
That's exactly it.
Didn't even introduce himself.
Yeah, this is the first time actually I've told them that I'm business development, to be fair.
Adds to the workload.
Yeah, exactly.
And is this your first, I guess, real job since leaving you were in the Navy, weren't you?
I mean, it was a real job. Yeah, I was in the Marines for 12 years, but this is the first time I've worked with females.
Hey, you should do what he normally says about Marines when there's not one present. That's not, you said it's not even an army or
Navy.
Not even a military career, he said. So I can't remember what it is in great details, but it's something like that anyway. You shouldn't talk to him, but
I thought we weren't supposed to swear on this podcast.
So how have you found it? How have you found it being here?
I mean, it's just a big transition. It's a change of pace. Like, it's not different level of intensity. I feel like part of the family, you generally really care about it and you want it to do well, which is really important. Just been great getting to know people. I think there's not a bad egg on the team entirely throughout the whole business, which is really important for the culture of the company and something that we want to take forward.
How many staff do you guys employ across the shops?
There's probably about 35 to 40, I'd say, on payroll.
Yeah. Okay. And then
how many get cash in hand?
Don't give them any ideas.
And Sammy, social media.
Yeah, so I do the email marketing and the social media, and all sorts of other bits and pieces in the background on the website as well.
You're the infamous person that generally responds to our...
I am. I'm the person behind the social media that does the little witty comments. That's me.
No one ever really gets to put a face to the person that's replying, because you just think it's a company replying to you. There's not an actual person at the back of it just getting threaders with the same question 30 times a day.
I think we try to add some like character in there. We've got free reign to show our personalities, which is also good. We don't have to respond like a robot. We respond like humans, because we are, and we respond like, when I respond to messages, I sign it off with my name, so people, you have that personal touch then as well.
And I like the swearing element you always include on your replies.
Just not the C-bomb.
Just not the C-bomb. And then Jake, how about yourself? You've been here for a couple of years.
Yeah, I've been here for a couple of years. I mean, like I said, I helped Kraz manage the store. I'm local. I grew up around here, surf around here, still doing that. Help Kraz out a bit with the buying, stuff like that.
Okay.
So when it comes to hardware, and I think he needed a little bit of guidance on where to go with it. Just not that I'm an authority, but more that I'm about 20 years younger than Kraz.
That sounds like a dig.
Started.
No, a bit less, but no, yeah. I mean, together we've sort of come up with some new brands in with the boards and stuff.
Yeah.
So like Lost and Paizel, and they're doing pretty well. Slow start, but I think with that sort of caliber of board, it goes that way. Same with the fins and obviously the Tiki customs and the sort of hardware range that we're doing now.
Yeah.
Had a bit of input with that, so it's exciting times.
Talk us through the Tiki customs then, because there's been quite a change in them, hasn't there, recently?
Yeah, it's a really sort of significant sort of range for us to put together. You know, the idea predominantly behind it was to kind of put sort of boards that would be good appeal to all kind of surfers with kind of quiver add-ins. You know, everybody needs a longboard. Everybody needs, sort of like a mid-length potentially.
Everyone needs a longboard, see?
I have got a longboard.
It's not a longboard.
It's not been wet in 3 years, but I do own one.
Yeah, so it's really significant that we kind of like looked at what really were kind of classic models, but also appeal very much to the modern sort of surfing styles. We've got the twin fish in the Parrot twin. We've got the drifter, which is the twin pin. And we've got then the nomad, which is the mid-length, and then the totem, the longboard.
Okay, and Nigel Simmons is shaping the boards, is that right?
Nigel is, yeah, he's worked with us on this, so really a really wicked experience, isn't it? Really sort of being able to put together a collection with a very serious surf.
And how did you actually land on the range of boards? Was that just a conversation of kind of what you think people would get on with, to obviously include a huge ability range, or did you have something specific in mind to start with?
I think we wanted to do something that was slightly alternative and sort of a slight throwback to the original Tiki sort of boards. Kraz will be able to talk a little bit more about the olden days, but
That's another one. We're going to keep a tally.
He said before we came on, don't pick on me too much. But
Go into a ramblings of an old man in a minute.
Doing like we're doing like a retro sort of thing rather than a performance sort of thing, and that kind of complements the other range of Evolution boards, which are more of an intermediate sort of.
I think it's a great outlook as well, because I think probably look a lot across a lot of surf stores that stock boards, and it's a lot of high performance, isn't it? And I think there's a bit of pressure on surfers, especially new surfers, to kind of just get on the shortest possible equipment because they don't know, but that's what you see on Instagram and social media and in publications. And actually, maybe you guys do down here, you've got better waves than I do, but in the waves that I surf locally, like most of the equipment I'm on, I probably shouldn't be. I just want it to be short and look like I can surf better than I can. But I took out the twin Parrot today.
That's the one.
Yeah, and it's actually, the timing's perfect for me because I've been having conversations with loads recently about, because I'm not a performance surfer.
It's not a performance anything.
I'm a performer. I'm not a performance surfer, and I'm comfortable with that, even though that's what I would love to be. But I ride equipment that is well above the performance ability of me. So I guess I'm trying to make that equipment do that, and I can't really do it. And I've been toying with this idea about getting on a proper 20 for such a long time. I've never actually ridden a 20. I've just taken the centre fin out of my thruster and told myself I'm on a 20. Clearly that's just not how it works, right? But and we had that board out today. It was
my announcement for that's bigger than yours, because I normally ride a longboard, and you'll have to tell me what I was on because I haven't got a clue. But I said to you, I think it was like I wanted a fish with lots of volume, because I found smaller boards, I'm just, as I said, sat on the ocean floor going, well, this isn't fun, because as my stepson calls me, I'm quite a unit.
Units.
Oh, thanks, yeah. So I was on it was a fish, what was it?
Yeah, that was the Evolution fish that you were on,
7.2.
7.2. Yeah, so sort of the idea behind the Evolution range is to sort of really help those boarders progress. It's more progression board, intermediate, or for someone that's stepping down potentially down to a fish from a longer board, or someone potentially getting their first board, hard board, sorry. I want to step onto it. It's got plenty of volume, epoxy, so it'll take a little knock as well. And really sort of just want to cater for, take everyone through their surfing journey, really. So we've got, we offer the Grizzly, which is a soft board, but then you can take you all the way through to, your custom potentially.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'll
how do
tell
you get
you
on with
what,
it?
that from stepping off a longboard, I've been longboarding for so long now, I can't remember last time I got on anything else really. It moved more like, I feel like a surf skate moves. It's got that sort of movement in it where the slightest turn and it was going. It did highlight, not down to the board, it highlighted down to the user of the board that their pop-up was very slow because they've been longboarding for too long. And they couldn't find the central point of the board very easily at first, but once I got it. But that said, first wave, you were like, oh, he's missed that. Oh, he's on it.
Oh, yeah. To be honest, I was trying to be polite in the car park. He had the choice between the longboard and that one as well. And he was like, I'm going to take this. And I was like, you should probably just take the longboard. Stick to what you know, because I just didn't want you to have a rubbish session. But I was trying to be polite. So when we paddled out on it, I was like, he'll be back up in the van in a minute, swapping for the longboard. And yeah, no, fair play. Yeah, straight on that wave. Like for somebody that never surfs a longboard, never surfs a shorter board than a what's yours, a 9.6?
Yeah, I got 9.6 and a 9.4 that I surf.
So somebody that never surfs less than that, and somebody that never surfs because he's so bloody busy, like to jump on that and actually catch waves, I thought was super impressive. It was a real testament to the board.
To the surfer.
Oh, well, yeah.
The board I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Like I said, it's a shame it got stolen afterwards, and I don't know where it went. I couldn't bring it back. So, but
and the parrot, the twin parrot. Oh my god! It was all backhands. Annoyingly, I was on today, and I've been trying to work on something on my front side, just on my pop up, and I was like, this was actually quite a good board to go and work on that. So I didn't really get a front side wave just to see what it's all about. But on the backhand waves, I felt that the takeoff was odd compared to, I normally like a 510 Firewire Mitch mashup. That's kind of my go-to board. And normally, because I've got a dodgy pop-up, I'm just, as soon as the board catches on the wave, I'm trying to pop up as quickly as I can. Like I don't really wait. And I found myself literally hands placed on the board as the board was lifting with a wave. And I was just waiting. It was like I was waiting for the sweet spot in the right time, which I've never done before, but I felt the rail was engaged completely different to how any other equipment I've surfed before has been. And then it's backhands. I don't really surf that well on my backhand, but it was quite nice. I made it around a few sections where normally I'm probably already kicking off, knowing I'm not going to make it round, but I kind of held.
There was one I thought that's closing out because I was just next to him, ripping him as normal. I can't remember. You're gonna die. And he's like, I could hear him paddling away laughing, and it looked like it closed out, and then he came out the front of it, and I was like, oh.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to getting it on my front side and some more waves. Like I think we weren't expecting to surf today when we went down to Putts when we saw it this morning.
I love Putts, but I've always said that. It's great.
Yeah, he's famous for loving Putts. But we went back down this afternoon, and do you know what? It was probably shoulder to head on the set waves.
Some of them were, yeah.
And it was quite weak though. I found. I thought I'd be in a little bit earlier, but it ended up being quite weak. But it was a super fun session.
Yeah.
It was super fun. So I'm looking forward to getting that board front side and just seeing what it's all about, where I know I can surf a bit more. But just that immediate, like I feel like there's something different. I can feel it in there. So I'm looking forward to just smashing it out.
Yeah. Twin fins are infamous for being hard to surf on your backhand anyway. So
all right, okay.
Yeah. Generally, I'll ride them.
Don't tell him that. He's going to take that. Just swelling now.
I'll ride them quite a lot, but yeah, I recommend that you would take it in again. And
okay.
Probably have the time of your life. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. No, I
it seemed to be like, even though you were on your backhand, you seemed to be moving quite more than I'd normally see you move. If you know what I mean, like. Maybe that's because you've just been surfing at Lost Shore continuously. It's your first wild surf.
Do you know what? Yeah, it's my first wild ghetto offshore salty surf I've had in a long time. It was weird actually because I've surfed literally every day at Lost Shore since we've opened, so like 3 weeks. And I've not had to go to the ocean. So the taste of salt water again. And I think this spot seems particularly salty compared to anywhere else. I don't know if it's just me.
Shit and semen in the water.
Kraz is down at Putts for
But it was odd. It was just odd being in salt water again. But it was also nice being in your tropical waters, which you have down here.
13 and a half degrees today in there.
Toasty.
It was.
I've been in boots, hood and
Bloody
gloves for
freezing,
3
mate.
months at home. I was starting roasting in 3 mil
What were you
gloves.
surfing the other day? 1.5
1.8 degrees.
Oh, 1.8
I surfed
degrees,
the other day.
not too
Oh,
bad.
up. So your waters are tropical.
How did you get on with the wetsuit? Did you wear the Zephyr wetsuit?
Yeah, I
at
wore
all?
the Zephyr, I wore the boots, I wore the gloves.
Warm.
Is that...
You probably didn't need the gloves, did you?
I didn't need the
Roasting.
gloves, but I'm in that mindset of that's how it is. So there was a point. I was like, we said that, didn't we? It was like, don't need it.
I had my gloves on. I was just like, I'm just going to ditch these in a minute. And just like, but no, I didn't.
But no, it was super comfy.
it
I've
was
had a Zephyr. You guys actually sent me a Zephyr maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And I've still got that suit actually. I'm one of them weird people that never get rid of suits. I don't know why. I've just got them all for no apparent reason. So they're just kind of there, like a hoarder for no. I don't know what you do with them.
I mean,
don't
there's
know what you're
something
supposed to-
about having something that never, something that's going to last forever. You kind of hoard it rather than just.
Yeah, totally.
There's
a-
Letting
there's a-
it sit on landfill.
Yeah, I've got a shed full of suits as well.
Do you?
Yeah. I think,
Bring them in for recycling.
Same.
yeah, well, we can
Should
now.
bring 'em in for
recycling.
Well, there's a place up north that do. I think they use them in like a seal enclosure because seals, it makes them feel like they're back with their family, which is probably equally devastating.
Yeah, that's worse when they find out.
Yeah, this is a huge tangent.
It's a wetsuit with no one in it.
It's an empty shell.
Some people make yoga mats out of them. Some people just put them with seals. Oh man.
Brilliant. Let's talk about some surfing. Let's start with yourself, Jake. So you're a local lad. Grew up around here?
Yeah, I grew up around here, learnt surf when I was about 9.
Mm.
My parents from down the road from Somerset, so they moved here around the time I was born. So my old man wasn't particularly good at surfing when I was growing up, so he didn't usually want to take me with him. He was still trying to figure it out. Eventually I wore him down and started going, and then I started going with mates. I've surfed ever since. Like you said, yes, surf around here quite a bit, but I used to go away most winters to Indonesia. Travelled around a lot of Indonesia surfing, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, Japan, a couple other places, California. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things that takes you around the world.
Just is quietly saying, yeah, I fucking rip.
Hey, that's what I held. That's the subliminal message there. I held that.
No, but one of the best things about surfing is it does tend to take you to beautiful places, doesn't it?
For sure, yeah.
So yeah,
I don't
You
know.
want-
I've not found out yet.
Are you on the competition scene? Do you compete?
not really. No,
You just won one.
I
He's keeping it quiet.
Just
but
won the
he's
Q-
won one.
Yeah. I entered a fire service surf contest.
Nice.
So yeah, it was just a bit of a fun day out, but yeah, I did actually take home the trophy at the end of the day.
Nice.
First contest I've done since I was at school though.
Okay.
Went a hell of a lot better than the school one.
How many people were in the comp from the fire
I
service?
think it was about 11.
Is it
they
local
were
fire
hoping for
service
more.
or?
So it's Devon and Somerset.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I'm just on call in Braunton.
Right.
It's quite a new thing. I've only been doing it for a few months.
You're on
went up
call
to the
now,
wave.
so you might have to just run or.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you actually are on call
No, I
now.
actually
Oh, right, okay, yeah. No, it's all right. I should probably explain that just in case you disappear halfway through. Like, what's
I
going
thought
on?
the guys had told you.
No.
Yeah, we went up to the wave for the day,
Oh, nice.
and yeah, it's good.
I love the idea that the fire service surf comp starts off with everyone like in the engine. Like and then you have to leave from there. You have to get undressed,
Yeah.
put your wetsuit on, paddle out.
Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't. It wasn't
Okay.
like that, but, yeah.
And how did you get into surfing?
So I haven't been surfing quite as long. I
Okay.
grew up in the Midlands, so no sea. Moved to Plymouth 10 years ago. Started surfing 2.5 years ago. It's been one of those things that I sat and watched from the sideline for so long, like longing to do it. But I was in a space where I don't know, I just stopped myself. Like that fear of like starting something new, I guess, as an adult,
Yeah.
as like a grown up.
Yeah.
And then I went for a separation, decided to join a ladies surf group, did it and loved it, fell in love with it first time. And that's it, hooked.
Which surf group was it?
So it was the Adventure Bay Ladies down at Tregenhawk in Cornwall.
Okay. Do you still surf with them guys or?
No, so I surf
Uh-oh.
with some of the girls.
Don't ask.
No. So a load of us, we like end of season got our own boards. My board came from Tiki, and I was friends with Matt first, so I got my board through here, and then carried on surfing. Now we still surf together. There's a load of us. We all go out together.
Yeah.
Surf Devon, Cornwall, chasing the surf.
Had you started working at Tiki when you took up surfing or?
So I'd been surfing probably a year.
Right.
Me
Okay.
and Matt were friends, and then I got the job a year after surfing. Like, I love it because now I get to like live and breathe surfing. It's my hobby, but it's also my job. So it's really easy to market something that you're actually passionate about and that you love anyway. So yeah, it's great.
I couldn't agree more with that.
I wouldn't know. I have to paint most days, every day, just staring at walls.
You made your choice.
Move
Matt,
on.
Matt,
Yeah.
how did you get into surfing?
I mean, I'm a bit in the same boat as Sammy, really. Came to it a little bit later on. Sort of always done board sports, more the sort of snowboarding and skating as a kid. Again, came from the Midlands, so again, there's no snow in the Midlands, but there's certainly no surf either. So yeah, just sort of every time I tried it, I was always shit. So it was one of those. I think it's definitely the hardest board sport. I'll put it out there that I think it's the hardest one in terms of barrier to entry. I'd say.
I think that is true because you're not only with snow and skate, you've got the one thing you're doing. You're on snow.
Yeah.
It acts the same pretty much. You're on
it's
the
reading
concrete.
the wave, exactly. Yeah.
But add the water element into it, and it's never the same unless you've got somewhere like Lost Shore or the.
I think
it's not
because that was the thing. It was never consistent. So you could go down and you just try and you didn't know what you were doing. You just get in the water and just paddle like fuck and then end up somewhere else. And then you'd be like, oh shit, what am I doing? And you do that a few times. You're like, oh yeah, I'm still shit at surfing. You try it again next year. You're like, oh, I'm still shit at surfing. Yeah. So yeah, did that a lot of that. And you try and do it. I've been abroad and tried it as well. And then obviously came into Tiki. I was like, oh well, probably better pull my finger out and learn to surf now. So yeah, been down to I'm allowed to say the wave.
Yeah, you can say it.
The Lost Shore in Bristol. That one.
Southern based.
The Lost Shore in Bristol.
The Lost Shore in Bristol. Yeah,
Southern based
guys.
wave garden facility.
Yeah, which I mean is so good for like if you're particularly at the beginning of your surfing journey, just because again you're getting that consistency, so you can really sort of practice and generally try. And then when being down here as well now, although obviously working pretty hard, so it's always trying to fighting the battle of finding time as well.
There's always time when there's surf. There's always time when there's surf.
It's funny you say working hard because every time we try and contact you, you're out of office. So
yeah, that's true. Don't tell them that. Can we cut that bit out?
Remote worker.
Also, I've never heard anyone agree with someone's point so judgmentally. They say, but I agree. It is a hard sport. The way you said it was like, you're right, but I don't want you to be.
I think that is true because you're not only. I mean, I agree because I've done all three of them as well, and I do find it is the hardest one just because you've got that extra element in there that's always.
It's probably wing foiling now. Is probably.
It's a bit more than a board sport because you've got the element of paddling out, spotting waves, catching waves, like a bit ocean awareness as much as anything else. A bit like the sailing sort of thing. And you've also got the element of starting off lying down, whereas the others you start standing up.
You're in a position.
So you're turning straight away.
Right, now have a go at him for agreeing with the point as well then.
No, but he said it. He said it succinctly.
I think there's also like sometimes there's that bit when you first started, there's a little bit of another little barrier to entry can be, I think the expectation of the culture, because you do think it could get a bit of localism or something like that, and that can put a few people off. But I think it's just got to put yourself out there and get over that, and put yourself in that beginner mindset and be like, as long as I'm observing the rules, then you're good.
I can't remember what I thought surfing and surf culture was like when I first started out, but is surfing such an aspirational sport that I think you need to be immersed in it to learn it and understand it. Like, you're just not going to pick it up just surfing. Like, you have to be around people, you hear the lingo and all that stuff, and you don't understand what anybody's talking about for such a long time. But I think that's really how in car park culture, I think in surfing is really where you start to learn the grassroots of surfing. Just hearing people chatting shit about, there's a bowl over there and all this crap, and people just try and flex with their surf knowledge before they get in for a surf, and I'm like, it's clean, get in. Like, why do you need to tell me when the wind blows that way? Shut up, just get in. It's on. Like, I think you hear all that stuff.
This is coming from the guy who you can tell he's been surfing wave pools for 3 weeks because he was in the ocean and he was like paddling like he was in a wave pool. I was like that.
He did say that.
Paddle.
He said paddle like you're in the ocean. He said.
He's going into wave and he's just like.
That's how it's supposed to be
on
a twin fin, right?
You're not even moving.
It's supposed to be. Kraz, what about yourself? How did you get into surfing?
Crumbs. I started when I was about 6, 7 on a wooden belly board.
So that's when they invented surfing, yeah? About
Pretty
now,
much,
yeah.
Just
following on.
Just
showing
following
my age again. Let's get there.
Dinosaurs on the beach.
Yeah. Funny enough, it was at Putsborough. Yeah. It's my grandparents and my parents, that was the trigger point really. We were very much beach dwellers, and wooden belly boards was the key in. And then I moved to Pop Out, and then pretty much kind of done most things. So I'm not very good at all of them.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy surfing. I've kind of moved through bodyboarding in the 90s. That was a big thing. Like college, it was the key kind of. Everybody was on trend with that. That was kind of something.
Right.
Do you remember those bodyboards in the 90s that they had like? It was like came pre-waxed. And they had like those little that used to make you look like you had scales on your skin when you got them. Yeah.
Yeah. There's been some crazy developments over time. Like this, one was peppered with sort of almost like golf ball base to it as well for extra speed.
Yeah.
And, it was kind of a good era, really. Actually, it was good fun. It was very much exploding at that point, but moved into what probably is one of my more favourable zones would be the longboarding style.
Yeah.
And then gradually worked back shorter again. So and then just kind of now ride everything, even from sort of injury back to a bit of belly boarding, and also I love a twin fin. Twin fins are great.
So we should go around and ask what are your normal go-to boards then. So if we start with you, Jake, what's your normal go-to board?
Yeah, I got a fair few boards in the shed. I ride like a Chili 20 quite a bit, quite small. I've just ordered a round nose fish from Lost, which is like a twin with a trailer. I've got like a Almeric Rocket 9, which is about as thrustery as it gets for me. Ride that when the waves are quite good. And I've ridden like a load of other sort of fishy twin with trailer sort of setups.
Okay.
Bought a bit like a Hypto Crypto a few years ago. Those sorts of boards. No like straight 510 thrusters, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
And Sammy?
So mine quiver's much smaller than that. I'm on a 7.2 fun board, looking to step down to a fish soon. Got my eye on the Tiki Custom, or there might be something else on the horizon soon that takes my fancy.
You should take that one I took out today out. It's bloody brilliant.
Oh, what did I take out? I took out the twin pin last time and absolutely loved it. Had such a good day on it.
I was going to say, surely your quiver. We're sitting on your quiver for all of you.
And we've got demo boards as well. But it's getting to Braunton because I'm from Plymouth on a day that there's surf at the same time and going out to play.
Yeah, right, okay. And Matt, what are you riding?
Yeah, so I'm on the Tiki Evolution Glide, which is kind of perfect for me, really getting into it first. It's a minimal shape, kind of catches waves really easily. It's just great to progress on really and start turning and doing all those things.
Okay.
Is that the other one you've sent me with?
No, you're on the Totem, the custom Totem, which is it's a longboard, that one.
Yeah.
The Glide, we'll talk for it in a bit again. It's sort of that first progressive board that you'll take on if you're stepping up from a soft board potentially, or maybe if you wanted to go a little bit shorter than what you're riding. Mini mal, good shape, loads of volume, catches loads of waves, easy to ride, nice smooth. It's good.
Okay.
Well read on that one, isn't he?
Yeah. It's written on the back.
So I've got a kind of collection over the years. I've had a longboard for a good 20 years, which is the single fin 9.4 Mark Martinson wingnut, which is kind of at the moment my go-to. But my favourite currently is definitely the Totem. Keep using that one out of the demo fleet. It's such a good longboard for Saunton local. That's the one you've got to try, isn't it? And it's like, for me, it's just an all time.
I had that today, and I was out there and I was looking, and I had that fish out there, and the longboard was up in the van, and I was like looking around, and there were some people on longboards, and I was like, oh, they look like they're having great fun. But it was such fun on this fish as well. I was really. It's the first time I've had that where I've really been torn of what to do, and it's. I don't know. I've heard different people like complain about that, going like, oh, I don't know which board to take out, and blah blah blah. But I found it quite a fun place to be in. Like I could get my longboard and be like just cruising like that. But I was having so much fun on it. It was like a really I don't know, it's a different experience.
It's nice to have options. You guys are in such a good place for waves, wave types, and you get a fair bit of swell, don't you? Down here, like it's quite nice to have a quiver that you can just take out and do whatever you want to do on that day.
Yeah, I think there's a big contrast between some of the waves around here. So you do need a bit of a quiver. It's not pumping every day, but we do get good waves. Croyd at low tide's pretty famous for steep, decent waves, and then you've got really mellow waves like Saunton and Putsborough. So it's definitely worth having a few boards to get you in whatever the conditions.
I know what Pete said. When you said it, I know exactly. Mellow Putsborough. Pete just had a heart attack.
Palpitations and everything. Mellow Putsborough. The first day, as I say, I've always been like, I hate Putsborough. Everything goes wrong at Putsborough. But the first day today, I've been like, well, like I always say, I love Putsborough. I never contradict myself in that. But no, it was really good today. But no, I've been in Putsborough when I'm just like, I said the same as Croyd, because we went down to Croyd this morning and there was like nothing, and then all of a sudden there was like these just bomb sets coming in, and you could just like, you could like.
Croyd is considered, I think, quite widely as the heaviest spot in the UK, right?
I've heard that, but being from around here, you don't really want to be the one to say it.
No.
All right, okay. Well, I don't mind saying it. And the reason I say it is, I remember we all came down here with Army surfing. We were up at Chiv, right, and I think we just had like a 2-week surfing sort of camp, right? It was class, and it was enormous everywhere. And we went to Croyd. It was like nearly 3 times overhead, and I just picked up this little 5'7" J board, and it was class. And I'd been desperate to take it out, and like head and a half is my comfort level. And even that's a push. I have to be surfing all the time to be comfortable there. And I remember we were stood at this side of Croyd. We parked there and we thought, you know what, it looks smaller at the far end. We'll walk. There was 4 of us. We'll walk to the far end. We were walking down. It was getting bigger and bigger. And you could tell like nobody wanted to say it, but you could tell none of us were getting in. But nobody wanted to say it. And as soon as somebody even opened their mouth, and I don't even think they were saying I'm not going in, everyone was like, yeah, I agree. Let's go back. We'll go somewhere else. But the thing is, I remember looking, and it's like, because it breaks quite close to shore. It's like such an easy paddle out. Well, for the times I've been there. And it was like, I think it was like 17 seconds that day, like huge swell. It was such a long break. There was like people in foamies just paddling out, not knowing the impending doom that was coming. And I surfed it the next day. And it was tiny. It was probably waist high at best. And I took out my mid-length, my 6'6" mid-length. And I remember kicking off the back of this wave, or try to kick off the back, and the lip caught the rail. And honestly, it felt like I'd just been hit by a triple overhead bomb. I was like, what the fuck was that? That was tiny. How can it be that punchy? I can't believe it. So I'm so happy I've not been in there when it's big, because that would end me.
Yeah, it does get heavy, and it doesn't require like a lot of waves to be heavy. You need quite a decent swell period.
Yeah.
But Croyd seems to not really like it much over sort of 10 or 12 seconds. The waves are really straight and weird. Apparently, it's something to do with the couple reefs around and oysters. That big wave spot. The way they refract the swell into the beach is what makes it.
Right, okay.
Powerful, yeah.
You've kind of told us a little bit of the history, but where's it going? Where do you guys try to take Tiki, and what have you got coming up? I mean, don't all jump at once.
Business development.
As business development, yeah. I mean, we've got quite a few exciting things in the pipeline. I mean, on the neoprene side, or probably lack of neoprene side, I should say, we're trying to move towards a more sustainable solution there. That should be coming out around early next year. We've also got more exciting developments on the women's side as well. Sammy, did you want to say anything on that?
Yeah, we've got a chest zip coming for women's.
Okay.
So far at the minute, we just offer a back zip and a women's suit, but we will have a women's chest zip available next year.
How have you found, because I've had a lot of questions before over the years about women's wetsuits and the lack of sizing and dimensions, and so as a business that sells wetsuits, how difficult is it? Because I don't know how to say this without saying like
really difficult.
Women's sizes are
been really
massively
difficult.
from
Yeah.
like.
So we surveyed this year.
Mhm.
We, Jess and I, who's the designer, we surveyed a load of women, especially from the women's surf group, local and in South Devon in Plymouth as well, to try and get a general idea of what women want, women want, what their pain points are, what they feel they're not getting from suits. And it was so vast, like the findings are so vast. And that data was used to make this new suit that's come in, so that hopefully we can accommodate more women. Everyone's a different shape and size, and it's really difficult. And I don't think it's unfair to say that women's sizes vary much more than men's do, and it's trying to fit the masses. I think previously it was thought that female surfers were slim gyms, straight up and down, really slim, but it's not the case.
Yeah.
I mean, the size in my previous surf group, the main size of women was a size 12, whereas ordinarily they'd have thought they were a 6 to an 8.
Yeah.
So it's trying to actually accommodate what women want.
Is there a difference as well? Because I know when we spoke to Williams Longboards, he makes wooden longboards, and he did a series of longboards specifically for women, because he worked out that the buoyancy part of the board needed to be shifted slightly, and that women surfing moved differently. Is that the same with like wetsuits and stuff like that, or was like because you've got like a standard set of boards obviously that are made, but there needs to be differences. And with the amount of, like, we were chatting to Eric the other day, and he said he's been out at Saunton recently, and he said he reckons it's about 50-50 to men and women out there sometimes now.
Yeah, it's really growing.
Yeah.
It's really growing industry, and certainly one that we're keen to get involved with as much as possible, which is why we're developing the suit. But it is difficult, like where you're going to place the panels and things like that. We are shaped.
Yeah.
We are shaped differently.
The panelling's
There's a lot
completely
more
different.
paneling for women, and that's harder to get right. Would be
Yeah,
fair to say.
yeah, it is.
okay.
And I think when the samples have come back, there's been a lot of alterations with the women's suit because of that, because of the panelling, and because of a chest zip falling on a breast.
Yeah.
It's completely different to how a man's chest zip is gonna fit as well.
So that will look completely different, do you think, the final product?
I don't think it will look different. It's just the clever panelling within the
Okay.
suit. So it will like nip in at the waist, and the seams are placed in different placements basically.
The result's the same. How
Yeah.
you get this?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the other issue is like it's not a clean, like it doesn't just get bigger as you go up the sizes. You you don't. A woman that's generally wearing a size 16 or 18 isn't necessarily 6'4". It's not getting bigger
for sure,
in all dimensions. So you've got to make sure that it kind of fits the demographic and it's getting bigger in all the right places. It's just a challenge essentially. But we're just trying to, like I say, do as much market research as possible, and it's just test really.
There's been I think a lot of change recently, or at least it's been highlighted. Certainly, you mentioned it before. If you look at global marketing in terms of surfing, especially for females, it's always size 6 and 8, and they're normally in bikinis and on a longboard, and that's just not the case. What we're seeing, certainly in the people we speak to, there's been a huge shift in mindset, which is obviously well overdue. But it's just nice to hear that, because you don't hear the depths of that sort of conversation normally that you're conducting. I didn't know that there would be different pinch points and problem points on a suit. I guess I'm just oblivious. Why would I know that? That's not so
I think that's the same thing as well, because I think we get the question, why is it so difficult to find a women's wetsuit? And with what you've just said, there's a reason why it's difficult, because it's like how they've been made for so long. It doesn't fit into to what women want or need in a wetsuit. So knowing that's now changing can be nothing but a good thing. I think it's going to get easier.
It gets driven by the size of the market growing as well, because previously, for instance, companies wouldn't necessarily offer like an 8 tall or an 8 short, because they just didn't get that many people buying suits. Whereas now, because the market's growing, there's more. Wetsuit companies gonna offer that solution essentially.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so that's your so female wetsuits. Looks like that's coming for sure.
We're excited.
Yeah. What else you guys got on the pipeline?
So we've got exciting movement on boards as well. So we released the Evolution series, like we said, this year, which has been a big success. We've done demo days with it down at Bristol, and we've done a few. They're not going to like us anymore. Sorry, guys.
Honestly, no, you can say the wave.
You can say
down at the wave. Yeah, no, I'm joking.
The wave,
the wave at Bristol.
They're
great.
the path for all of us.
Down at the wave, and also here as well. I've had a really good take upon it, and it sort of really hits that middle market that we're aiming for, progressive surfers, probably like myself and Sammy, really. But we just wanted something that kind of was in between the customs and the Evolution series, really, something that, the sort of next step up, because there is a bit of a difference we found at the minute. Kraz or Jake, I don't know if you want to say a bit more on that.
Oh yeah, I mean, we won't give too much away because it's going to be like a bit of a surprise sort of thing, I believe. But it's going to be an epoxy board.
So we are lined up for May.
May. Don't say what it is then.
But it's designed sort of similar construction and stuff to the Evolution range.
Mike.
Sorry, similar construction and stuff, etc., to the Evolution range, but lighter. So it's epoxy rather than PU like the customs, but designed for a slightly more advanced surfer that's kind of interested in those sorts of shapes, but maybe a little bit more refined.
Yeah, where the custom series is quite specialist with the offering, this will still have some, slightly broader appeal. So, but also starting to home a little bit more towards kind of those performance elements people will be looking for. I think it's, with the construction, there's going to be something that's going to be, very dependable and very,
still in that same sort of size range, though. We're not going to like super performance shortboards or anything with it. It's still that sort of vibe, mid-lengths, etc.
And what's the sort of price range of these ones behind you?
Yeah, so if you're looking at the Evolutions currently at the moment, if we were to take probably a trim, I think that's just over the 500, just as a rough price, in comparison to, say, something like the Totem, which is coming in at about 1100.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just to say the trim's the longboard version of the Evolution.
The longboard of the Evolution, yeah.
So they're the higher end of the price point for each, for the custom and the Evolution.
Yeah. No, I think it's pretty reasonable prices for boards of they're all. Well, I think all boards are crazy prices now. When I first looked at a surfboard, it was like £100, and I was like, "Oh my god!" You're going back years ago, but they're all crazy prices now. So I think they fit in quite well with what the price range is of boards. And you start going custom on a longboard, you're going up double that, aren't you? In some
crazy
places,
money, imported. Like some of the most popular longboard brands are Californian, and the price to get them imported is just crazy.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I've ridden the trim. I really enjoyed it. It's such, as a first longboard as well, good introduction to longboarding. It's great all rounder.
Yeah.
So that's really great. I mean, that sort of prices. Yeah.
There was something else I picked up on. I'll just move away from surfboards slightly. We probably shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna. Every man and his dog, or woman and her dog, has their version of a change robe. We had hands on your ones, the Tiki ones, in the shop yesterday, and actually we thought they were so fucking good. We were still talking about them last night over an Asda pizza, because we're high end like that. But they're genuinely.
No, we were talking about the insides of it.
The material,
cozy lining.
Oh my god, like next level.
It's like. I don't know. I don't know what it's like. You feel those black. You go in somewhere like Dunelm's, like Teddy fleece. That's it.
Yeah,
and you're like,
it's really nice.
What's this?
We were still talking about it last night.
We're not like that. So, what's this Teddy fleece?
But they're so good, and like I said, like everybody does one, don't they? But actually, most of the time it's kind of same old. So it's quite nice to see something that's a little bit different material and just really cozy.
I think 90% of the people are using them to walk the dog, so they're more comfy and the warmer you can make them.
Yeah, and the school run.
Not particularly good. None of them are particularly good at drying you. A towel is far better at that. But if you lean into to what they're for, I think the Tikis are.
I mean, I see them in
there.
towns that aren't surf towns, and there's
I
no
don't-
surf
I don't know why
near,
it
and people just
no one hasn't just released dog robe yet. Just literally
Dog robe.
aim it at dog walkers. Dog robe. There you go.
Yeah.
So I won't say who they are, but mates of mine run a surfboard factory in Newquay, and it was before like everyone was doing a version of a change robe, and they done theirs, and they didn't realise Dry Robe was a brand name. They just thought the product was Dry Robe, right? Which is brilliant marketing. I think there's a name for that. Like, there's loads of examples, like Hoover, for example. People say Hoover, but Hoover's a brand. And there's loads of other ones, like whatever, I'm going to think of any. But they called theirs Dry Robe, and on their website and everything else, they were stocking dry robes, and they actually got a cease and desist. Trying to be like, what are you doing? And they were just like, what do you mean? So that's so cool. But what a testament. It's such a useful product.
Isn't it?
I know.
Anyway, you're great at a party.
That's me. That's me.
Thanks.
Yeah, cheers for that.
I appreciate the plug.
That's all right. That's all right.
No.
Let's go back to a wee bit of surfing, and so obviously there's different levels of experience here. Kind of people always like to hear people's. Well, they like to hear people's best waves, but they'd like to hear people's worst wipeouts or worst experiences in the surf. So, Jake, I'm going to start with you. Maybe go with your worst experience or worst wipeout you've ever had.
I don't know if I could pick one. I mean,
There's a lot.
there's quite a few. Going over the falls anywhere in Indonesia is not fun because it's generally quite shallow and a bit scary. Surfing waves that are like generally at the higher end of your sort of level. But one wave sticks in my head, like when I was a kid, I was probably about 12 or something. I was surfing low tide, Croyd. I was a bit nervous. It's probably a bit bigger than head high on me then, so not very big, but and I took off on a really steep wave, and there were a load of guys there. Don't know who it was, probably Kraz and his mates. And I absolutely stacked it, and I remember just felt like I was in the washing machine forever. Came up like panting for breath and grabbed hold of my board. And one of the guys was like, I'll take my hat off to you there, mate. That was a pretty decent one. So I remember that one. Yeah. But yeah, plenty of wipeouts.
And your best
bumping
wave?
the reef and again, I've had like great waves here in the UK, like low tide Croyd and at the point and stuff. But yeah, I've probably my best waves have been out in Lombok. There's a really good wave out there that I love to surf called Air Guling. And it barrels, but it's not too hectic on the barrel, and it's also good for turns and stuff. So like plenty of good waves there, and surfed it at a decent size. Something about surfing in boardies, it makes you feel a little bit more safe than like being in freezing cold.
It's an odd one, that, isn't
water
it?
There
is something about that,
suit. Yeah. So yeah, sorry I can't give you a strict example. It's just been too many.
Sammy?
Mine's something similar, to be fair. So it was one of the first times I decided to venture out back, feeling all brave. I was at Polzeth in Cornwall, and it just dumped on me. It was massive. For me, it probably wasn't that big at all, to be fair. Dumped on me, held me down, and I felt like I was in the washing machine for ages, held under. And I was quickly humbled and decided I was stick in the whitewash for the rest of the session.
It's the best expression, isn't it? It's so accurate, like being humbled.
Oh, it's so humbled.
The sea does like to remind us every now and again that
and you don't realise how
charge.
heavy it is. Like until you start venturing out back as well, you don't realise the actual force of the wave. And it was just too steep, and I didn't turn fast enough and got taken under.
What about your best wave?
It was at Tregantle, which is Cornwall again. And it was small. It was like 2 to 3 foot, but really nice glassy waves in the summer. So we were actually in swimming costumes and bikinis as well. Felt like we were abroad, and it was just the best session. Like we went on into the night, and it was just one of those sessions you didn't want to stop.
Yeah, I get that.
And it was that's up there.
Okay. And Matt?
So I remember getting back from deployment once, and me and my mate decided I will go to Panama and Colombia just on a trip. It wasn't a surf trip or a plan like that anyway. We went to this place called Boca del Toro, I think it was called, and did have some pretty amazing surf there and islands and everything. We were just cruising around, and we went into this hostel. We thought, we'll just have a couple of beers, and the barmaid or the woman that was running the hostel was pretty tasty. And she was like, oh, yeah, you guys surfers. Obviously, we were just blagging it. We were like, yeah, sure. Yeah, we surf. Yeah, no worries. And she's like, oh, cool. Yeah, I've got a spare board. And me and my mate just like looked at each other like, oh shit. And we're like, yeah, we might as well. We got filled up on a few more beers, and she had loads of boards, but they were all tiny. Bearing in mind, I was still I still am horrendous. So it was like, I think it was like a 6 foot single fin. It was just like, there was just no way it was even going to get done. And it was pretty big as well, but we, like I say, we were fairly filled up. So we just went out there and literally just got completely smashed for about probably a good half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. Didn't catch a single wave. Just kept trying and trying. It was like, absolutely no hope, but we didn't die. So that was that's always a bonus. Needless to say, she wasn't particularly impressed with that, but we survived.
What about your best?
Best one was probably like a couple of days later when we actually like not in the same place, but we went back and actually like took out boards that were more sort of relevant to our like capabilities, I guess, and actually had a really good time. And it was a lot better. Essentially,
Colombia got a big surf scene.
It wasn't. This was in Panama actually.
Oh right.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is in Panama. Yeah, so yours like Central America. I guess it's just down there from Nicaragua and all those, isn't it? So I guess.
Yeah. Cool. And Crash, you have plenty of time to think about it.
Nearly 50 years.
Everyone's having a go at you now. Like,
He's getting it.
So I try not to think about if I was to be fair. I mean, I would go back probably actually my bodyboard days randomly, but we were Croyd low tide, and on those super spring tides, it can drop almost so low, and it gets so shallow, just down on the corner on the left, and it was one of those sequences of going over the falls more than once and basically being sucked. So I went to get to drop knee, which was kind of doing back then. As I dropped into the wave, the bottom just dropped out, and it was pretty much sand below because it was that shallow, and it just sucked me over the falls and pitched me. Ended up pretty much face down into the sand. Couldn't press off the sand. It felt like I was getting full exfoliation. And then when I did finally come up, I was going up in the face of the following wave. So I'd obviously kind of made a bit of distance into that and just basically went over again, and it did exactly the same. I did a third time, and on the third one, I just lost pretty much all bearings. I wasn't sure whether I was going up, down, and my eyes open and it was dark. When I actually popped up out the back, so it actually kind of sucked me below. Yeah, right. And when I came up from that, I'm looking at my friends who are actually now between me and the beach. And they're like, "What are you doing out there?" So that one sticks in my mind because it was kind of like I did a Houdini. I don't know what really went on there.
The start of it, I really don't like to remember it. I fucking know why. It's terrifying.
Yeah, and I was young, so it felt quite
traumatised.
I was very traumatised. Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't got on a board again.
Serves you right for being on a boogie board.
So, have you had a good one, or was that just
Yeah, that's it. I've had loads of good waves for different reasons, so it's really hard to pick. Like,
what would you say? All right, let's go like best session. What would you say? Like, because they're always ones I think that stay in your head.
There's a couple of good sessions from the Maldives back along, but I actually think, to be fair, one of the most memorable ones has been when Saunton's been on its day. Because Saunton's definitely, although it's it has a longboard wave, it's very deep in that, but it's got such a long run on it when it's on it's almost point break style. And it's just having those almost leg breaking kind of, your legs at the end of one ride can be, it just sweeps all the way down through. So I'd consider probably the Saunton day where it's just decently overhead, but running.
There's something nice about surfing your local spots, isn't there? I don't know, it's just the familiarity, the faces, I don't know what it is, but there is something quite special and underspoken about it.
Yeah. When you're out of spot a lot, you get good at surfing it, and you also, I think, you get to surf it at its best. Because if you go on a trip somewhere, you don't necessarily get those spots at their best. If you live somewhere,
that's fair.
That's like I said to you today, like that, like with coming down here. I know it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours from my house down to here, which isn't too bad. But if I'd come down for what we got today, it's a bit like although we had a good laugh in there, both of us in there and stuff. But it was so like it wasn't. You want if you go in to travel somewhere, you want that consistency, don't you? Like like you said, I want to come down to like Swanton on a good day, or I want to be like Putsborough when it's nice and mellow.
Oh, that's a good day. He's at Putsborough.
Yeah, he does. He talks about Putsborough a lot on the Chan show or the Totem. Loves it.
Yeah. And we've kind of added these 2 questions in the last edition. So obviously a few of you, so maybe I'm going to pose the question and you just have to answer straight away with this first one, right? So I'll build it up, and I'm not going to start with Jake, just because I've been starting with Jake all the time, right? So we're all in agreement. I'm 6 foot tall, right? We don't need to question that, debate it. I'm 6 foot tall, and that's it, right? So let's say I am 6 foot tall, and I've just done a terrible bottom turn, right? My knees are fully locked out, and I'm actually stood fully tall, right? So I'm stood completely erect on my board, and at the end of a bottom turn, right? So the board is at the bottom of the wave. It's at the absolute trough of the wave, and the top of the wave is in line with the top of my head, and I'm 6 foot tall. Okay, so in feet, and I'm going to go bang, bang, bang with all of you. I just want you to tell me, in feet, how big is that wave? Go.
I'd have to measure it from the back.
Matt?
4.
I don't know.
It's
I'm
3 feet.
I'm 6 foot.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
6
3
foot
feet.
tall.
Is it
3.
No. Your answer. Ignore it. Ignore all this politics that's happening around you. I'm 6 foot tall, and the bottom of the waves, the bottom of my feet, and the top of the waves in line with my head. How big's the wave in feet?
Oh, you'd say 6 foot, wouldn't you?
There you go. Okay.
It's 3 feet.
Where do we get 3 feet from?
That is a fantastic question.
Come on, Jake.
So this is
Generally,
the whole point of it. So no matter who you're with, different friend groups, we've come to the conclusion that your friend group will say it's 3 foot, it's 3 foot clean, it's 3 foot and whatever, and you'll know what that is or whatever they say. We both think, I think the correct heights of waves are knee, waist, chest, head.
It removes the ambiguity. Yeah. But it's such a... This is why we bring it up, because it becomes political and divisive. Yeah. And you talk about, obviously, Hawaiian scale, measuring from the back.
Yeah, Hawaiian, that'd be 1.5.
Utterly pointless. Utterly pointless system. Because there's a point where a huge wave is flat. But it's a bit like... So I took out a 6'2" today. If I came in and said, can you build me that in a 6'2", and I came back and it was like 3'4", like that's applying the same like thought process. Well, no,
because I think the 3 foot comes from the swell. So generally, if you've got 3 foot of swell running at the average amount of swell period, 10 seconds or something, those waves will have 6 foot faces. So when
I'm asking the face height, and the face height.
The face height is obviously 6 foot.
That's all about
head height. But the waves start when people say 3 foot. They're talking about the wave size.
Yes, but so why would you measure why wouldn't you measure the wave face size though?
Because we don't do that. We don't apply that at Nazare when we're chasing 100-foot wave, which suddenly becomes 3 foot plus wave.
It's a fair shout.
Yeah, I know. But I think it all comes from like measuring wave faces, and it just being when you were back in the olden days, you were reading the boys, and it would say 3 foot, and you'd get down there, and it would be roughly head high.
That was back in the days, though, that women didn't have a chest zip on their zipper. We've moved forward.
That's where I think it comes from. Anyway, it's way before my time. But
it's just a fun question because it's people just like some people just explode inside with rage when I ask that. They really do. Yeah. And you're gonna go with the second one.
The new one. So. You've just got same thing, right? You've just got the video or the picture of your life surfing, but by posting it, it's going to blow up a spot. Are you going to do it?
No.
You paused.
Was that a noise?
No, definitely no.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
So even on Tiki socials, we protect spots. We won't share spots. Certain ones that protected. We'd just get a load of earrake if we
No, for sure. We always work off the rule that if it's not on Surfline, like we won't talk about it, but if it's on there, we don't mind speaking about
it.
If
it's not on Surfline, it gets bleep out.
So the one we spoke about for a long time before, I'm guessing Pete's got a lot of bleeping to do.
Yeah. Brilliant. That's what I was trying. Stop talking about it now.
Happy days.
So, yeah, what else? Anything else that you've got coming up? Anything else that's happening? Any cool new podcasts you're sponsoring or anything like that we should talk about as well?
Yeah, there's the, what's it called again? The UK.
Great Britain.
Well, we haven't mentioned it. Well, we will have by the time this comes
episode
out.
Before this one.
We've now got a sponsorship deal with Tiki, and they are supporting all the Devon episodes.
Yeah, hopefully you guys will have a good time down here. Get to serve some of our kit and chat to some local legends as well. So yeah, hopefully you have a really good time. But yeah, pop into the shop anytime you need any kit to test out. It's, really appreciate it.
Cheers. And we're going to be doing some giveaways as well.
Yeah, we are going to be doing giveaways throughout the week. So yeah, they're going to do slightly different things. There's going to be a sort of small giveaway, may or may not be a beanie, may or not be similar to the one that's on my head right now. There's also
is it the one
similar?
Is it the
Very
one
it's quite similar. It's quite similar.
But from a hygiene perspective, there'll be no hair in the hat
exactly.
when you receive it. So that's
exactly. And then I think we're going to do did you take the hooded vest out today? Did you get a chance to do that?
No,
it's
roasting in your tropical.
You could have just been wearing that and not the Zephyr instead. Yeah. So we've got that as well coming up. And the idea behind that is it just helps you upgrade your suit essentially. So if you're wearing a 4-3, stick it on and it turns it into a 5-4. Similarly with a 3-2 as well. So it just gives you, if you're not prepared to earn if you haven't got a quiver of wetsuits like you guys have in your shed, it just gives you that opportunity to surf colder conditions. And then we're going to finish off on the surfboard as well. I don't know if you want to chat about that one, Kraz.
That's the
giveaway.
Giveaway one, which is it's a replica of one of Tim's guns that we you can't see it up there.
Just stick an overlay on.
I'll overlay it.
Yeah,
so
it's a replica that was created based on one of the boards that he used to ride, and it's got a nice little glass leash loop. Everything it's a tidy bit of kit. Yeah.
Okay, well we look forward to getting them live.
Yeah.
Or they will have been live, probably, possibly.
Whatever happens.
It does.
Yeah.
This might have all fallen apart since then. Who knows?
Hopefully we've made it that far. Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for taking the time this evening. And again, the space is amazing. If anyone is in Devon, it's definitely worth coming down just to check out the Tiki store. There's loads of stuff.
There's a secondary store as well now, isn't there?
Oh yeah, we've not just got the one shop.
Multiple.
Yeah, we've got multiple shops. Yeah, so we've got obviously we're doing the North Devon. We've got one in Cornwall as well, St Ives. And then we've got one in Cowbridge, which is in Wales, next to Cardiff. They're actually doing a bit of ski stuff as well at the moment. We've got one in Exeter that's more skate based. But yeah, super cool shop. They've got a half pipe upstairs as well. I was going to let you talk about that.
I chimed in there because Plymouth's the hometown. I'm like, Plymouth, you need to include Plymouth. Yeah, and Plymouth in the city centre. Yeah,
Plymouth as well. And then we're also sort of working with other stores that want to stock Tiki as well. Certainly, and clubs and schools as well. We're quite into collaborations with local businesses, anyone that's doing not just surf but particularly sometimes paddle as well, that want to do wetsuits. We do stuff for schools and centres in our ADV range, which is more hard-wearing wetsuits designed for that sort of market that's going to get daily use. And similarly with all the other ADV kit as well. So yeah, if anyone's listening that needs to get hold of that, owns a school and centre, needs any new stuff, then just go onto the Tiki website and they can just find the B2B section and go through there. So we offer that as well.
Nice.
What are some of the clothing brands you've got in the shop as well? Because I try and remember them, but I can't even remember his name half the time. So
So we've got our 2 own brand textiles, which we're starting to do more and more of. So we've got Tiki Surf, and then we've got Bamboo Bay as well, which again is a bit more of an adventure brand. And then we've got all your sort of classic surf brands as well. So your Rip Curls, Billabongs, and then more sort of, I guess you'd call it more streetwear stuff like Dickies, and Deus and people like that. I don't know if you've got any more on that.
Yeah, it's got
Volcom,
Patagonia.
Yeah, there's
got
lots.
it all.
Basically, how to spend your wages when you come into store.
Yeah. Well, there we
Florence.
go. Florence. Oh, I saw the Florence stuff. Yeah. Okay. And last question from me.
Well, I was just going to ask about Kraz's first wetsuit, which is
Oh yeah.
this is back here.
Steam machine, yeah.
Shame you
And,
didn't put it
Steam
on.
machine.
I
The
know.
steam machine from the 1980s.
You should put it
Very
on now.
Yeah.
Take him a
Great
little while.
bit of content. Jam or cream first? That's the thing you asking Devon, isn't it?
Cream and jam.
Cream then jam.
Cream and jam.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Stick with that answer.
Always.
It's just common sense.
Yeah,
It
you
is.
got to look at
It's like the cream is
Is it
butter
though?
in my eyes.
Is it? Well, I think it is because I always think cream's like butter.
Yeah,
so,
same,
exactly.
same.
No.
But
Yeah.
then
It's
No,
so
butter's
many-
like butter. Cream's like cream.
so to save the argument, I'd just like split it dead in half and put half cream one side, half jam the other side, and just shove the whole thing in your mouth. And then
I don't quite get the argument. I just know that's something you ask
It
when you're in
is.
Cornwall and when you're in Devon.
I think the Cornish are a little bit more care a little bit more about that one, don't they?
Oh, did he? Oh, you're not
Yeah.
that bothered.
Literally.
With that one.
You've just
Damn,
come down here and just been racist the whole time. That's the whole thing you've done. You've just insulted everybody.
Yeah,
and
wait till we
pissed
come
off
up to
all the
Lost Shore.
locals. Yeah.
Start asking about haggis.
We had haggis
Yeah,
today.
haggis. You brought
Yeah,
some
we did.
down with him because he can't
True
travel
story.
without it.
No. He's fixated.
It's better to end it there. Just end it.
Fuck you. Well, cheers for that, guys. That was a super fun one, Pete. It was really nice to go down and visit the store, having used all of their kit, all of their equipment during our trip in Devon.
A bone to pick actually. You used all of their kit and equipment. You got to use everything.
That's not true. I got
to use it. I got to use the. You didn't try the Evo fish,
I
did
didn't
you?
try it. No, because I just wanted to get the feel of the 20. I didn't kind of want to. It's not ruining the feel, but I just wanted to stick on one board and just try and understand it.
Yeah.
Especially because that's the board I really want. That's the board I'm going to get made.
Yeah.
So
elaborate
that
then.
Parrot twin. So
Yeah.
what was the bone? What was the bone
Huh?
to pick? What was the bone to pick?
Oh no, you got to try the wetsuit. You got to try the gloves and boots. You got to try the robe. I got a hat.
Yeah, but that's because there's no. That's because there's no X's at the end of my sizing.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's why.
I'm only winding you up because I know for the fact that Matt's going to be sat there now going, "Oh fucking! I said he could have that." So I was just like, "Nah, give it to fucking Mitch." I was like, "I'm throwing stuff away from my house at the moment. I don't want more stuff coming into it."
In fairness, you were supposed to get the change robe, the Tiki change robe,
Yeah.
and I've somehow ended up with that.
Yeah.
Which
Do you know why though?
to be fair to you,
Go on.
you were not because normally you're a fucking arsehole, but you were really polite and kind, and were like, do you know what? I will probably not use this as much as you will because I'm going to be filming at Lost Shore most days, or I'll be outside, or I'll be surfing my nut off. With my new surf nickname, maybe we'll come on to that in a bit. But I need to be warm, and let's say we spoke about it during the episode, but how comfy is that change robe? Like the lining in that thing.
I wouldn't know, mate. Not tried it.
Well, you saw it in the shop.
Yeah.
You saw it in the shop.
Do you know you say actually you're a twat and you're actually kind? We actually got a message from someone that said about you were like a big older brother that's just a bully to me, and I think that's quite true. Actually, I think it's very true.
Well,
a lot of
remember
people,
that.
yeah, you should
Remember
do.
that. You'll be on the naughty step, son.
Yeah, sat there in my yellow underwear going. Ooh.
So it was super fun, man, and it was a really nice way to kick off the Devon edition. I mean, a well-established UK surf brand and a huge part of Devon surf culture as well. Really nice to sit down with the gang. I love that Sammy swears on social media and her replies to people. She doesn't. For clarity, she doesn't.
For clarity,
she could.
She could. Yeah, that was actually quite funny. Listening to, because you two both run like social media stuff. Was, I don't know how professional this is to say, to what you want to reply to what you're professionally allowed to reply sometimes.
Oh, for sure. So sometimes it's a bit like, I don't know if you work in an office-based sort of thing. It's a bit like you have to just draft your response, you're like, fuck you. You have to write it out and then delete it. Sometimes you have to do it.
It's when you press send by accident. No!
When you press send by accident.
Also, someone said, I know we're going off subject because we're still not talking about the whole interview of Tiki. It's just a good interview, you know? It's like, I like the ones when there's lots of people in there sometimes because there's lots of backwards and forth. And like, you know, you got like Kraz in there who's got like, I don't know, he seems like the Yoda of the Tiki shop. He's been there so long and like in that surfing environment in Devon. And, you know, Matt coming into there. And then Jake's like the young one who's like, boy, it sounds like his story's taking a piss out of Kraz for just being really old, even though he's like just as old as you. And then you got like Sammy's like social media and doing like newer into the surfing and stuff like that. So there's a massive range, but the Tiki history of that shop, you know, since 62 or something like that off the top of my head. I should have researched that properly and found out, but it's been there a good long time. And you know, like anybody you talk to who maybe even doesn't know so much about surfing, or you say something about surfing and they'll say like Croyd, Saunton area, and they'll go, oh yeah, Tiki, and say something about the Tiki shop because it's like right on that main road as you go through, like, you know, Saunton, Braunton, and it's such like an extension they've done there now. Such a mental shop. It's massive, and it's really nice.
It is massive, and I referred to it. I held myself back when I was editing the episode talking about. I referred to it as it was like a sort of kitchen showroom, which is something. It doesn't sound like a compliment, but it is.
In your head, it was.
But it's a sort of place. That's the sort of place you look around. You're like, I want that. I want that. I want that. I want that. It draws you in. Like it's really. When I say clean, I don't mean like clinical. Clean. I mean, like it just looks really modern. For me, it's the epitome of a modern surf shop. I think they've really crushed it. It's the kind of place you
coming from the same person that once said he hates going into modern surf shops? He likes going into.
Yeah, you did say that.
No, you said that, you fucker.
No.
Yeah.
So definitely. It was super fun. Absolutely buzzing to have them guys on, and really nice for us. Well, really nice for them to support the show.
Really nice for them to come on.
Yeah, really nice for them for their sake. Yeah. Not at all. No, it was mega, mega fun.
Yeah, but we really got to thank them because they really did make the whole Devon trip possible. And, it was, thanks to them. They not only supported us with like boards and, as we say, they give us some clothing, hats, and we've got a competition with them as well, haven't we? Nearly completely forgot about that part of it, that we're going to be doing with them, a 3-part giveaway. So there'll be a smaller prize, and then a medium prize, and then a big prize. And I don't know what they all are yet, but we'll get into that and put them on here.
Yeah, that's definitely one to look out for. And just to reiterate, Pete, thank you so much for supporting the show. Same for the listeners as well. You guys, it's pointless us just waffling crap at you if you're not supporting and listening. And honestly, on the daily, people are coming and saying something about the show at Lost Shore. I won't repeat what they're saying, but people are always coming and talking about it. In fact,
it's something along the lines of, get that English guy off.
Well, no, I came in because I've not been in the office. I've not been at the resort this week until today, just because everybody's ill. Like my son's ill, and I don't want to go around and pass it on. So I've just been at home. So I went in today, and one of the guys that work in our surf shop was like, some guy was coming in yesterday asking questions about the show and if you were about, and there was another guy who listens to the show, but he heard me. I was walking around site, and he just obviously heard me talking to someone else, and he went, "Oh, it's the waiver video guy." And he obviously, because I voiceovered the video for that. Yeah. And he went, "That's the waiver video and podcast guy." And it turns out he's been playing a game with these kids, and these kids, their thing was just to try and find me.
Yeah.
In the resort. Man, I can hold my breath for ages, so I was under the water. They didn't find me. But so it's cool. All the support, like it's been amazing. The support we got in Devon was amazing. It was just a really cool place to go and not just hang out and surf, but kind of get immersed in a bit of the surf community.
Yeah.
We got super welcomed there, so thank you, everyone.
That was cool. And we should probably say Merry Christmas to you all, because this is the last one before Christmas. This will come out at 21st, 22nd, something like that, whatever day it is. So yeah,
probably tomorrow.
Yeah, probably by the way we edit. Yeah,
intros and outros.
Yeah. So thanks to everyone for listening to the show this year. I know the next one will be out in the new year now, and yeah, we've had massive support this year, and it's just been good fun. Couple of trips, one with Mitch's geography, one with my geography.
Yeah, that was we went full circle there.
Yeah,
or not, depending on how you look at the geography.
yeah.
It's been great, and I've had plenty of surfing. We've obviously opened our doors. It's been a month now.
Can we talk about your surfing, or do you want to save that for another? Do you want to save that for an edition when it's just you and I talking?
I do want to talk about it, but let's save it for that. Should I talk about
just take the snippet of it? What you said to me the other day of what's happened to your surfing in the last month.
Okay, so I knew. Right, for context, I always speak about sort of progression and lack of it. Lack of swells. It's hard to progress, and I'll feel like maybe I'll move forward a tiny bit, and then it's like 3 steps back.
Yeah,
and I'm just talking about even being able to do a cutback or attempt to do a cutback or even get a half decent bottom turn. That's about it.
Yeah.
And I thought it would maybe take 6 months for me to see some progression surfing at Lost Shore. And you're probably listening thinking, you work say it's probably surfing every day. I reckon I'm surfing twice a week to 40 minutes to an hour sessions. Obviously, we're running out of daylight and stuff up here. So 2 sessions a week. I was away for a week in Devon, so I've had now. This week will be my 4th actual week of surfing. So
we did actually wild surfing in Devon as well.
Yeah, we were doing wild surfing in Devon, the old ghetto offshore salty wild surfing as we now call it. And so I was like, I've probably got 6 months, and I'll then think of a sort of concept of content that I can package how I'm progressing. I was like, I don't have to worry about it. I've got ages. Honestly. In week 2, I was like, holy shit. Like, I'm not talking about little progression. I'm talking about I'm holding turns longer. I am doing proper cutbacks. I'm just thinking, I don't want to talk about it too much. I'm thinking I'm doing more, I'm doing bigger, and all of it's progressing. So in 2 weeks, I have gone from, that to that. So it'd be easy for me to get carried away. So what's that?
Two sessions a week, and for 2 weeks, and you've got improvements already. So whatever it costs, 200 quid, you can improve your surfing by holding your turn longer. 4 sessions. There you go.
Well, or you can buy the bundles we just released today, which are actually live. Go check them out. Yeah. Or if you buy a wetsuit in the shop, you get a free surf with it. Why are you looking at me like that?
I was just thinking, where's my sound machine? I had about 30 things to say. Like, I was going to say, one, that's a really expensive way to book a surf, but then if you need a wetsuit, it's a really cheap way to book a surf. So
it's a very cheap way to book a surf if you're buying a wetsuit anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, basically, yeah. So thanks for listening. Merry Christmas, Happy Baby Jesus Day and all that. And then if you want anything for discount codes, we've got some others. They're around here somewhere under my scraps of paper.
Well,
I think.
If you want 10% off at Tiki, use the discount code UK Surf Pod, all uppercase. That'll get you 10% off.
Yeah, and Srface, 10% off Srface wetsuits. That is UK Surf Show 24, and that will get you 10% off anything you order from Srface. And we've also got Coopville clothing, and you get 10% off for them. Use the discount code UK Surf Show 10, and that will get you 10% off at Coopville clothing as well. So there you go. Thanks for listening. I think we're around about, or we've hit about 500,000 downloads now. So that's quite a big deal as well. We should make more of a big deal out of that sometime. And probably. And look forward to the Devon ones coming, and we will see you in the new year.
Pew! Leave a like and a comment.